Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you sell on platforms such as eBay and Mercari, you're in luck. We're going to check out doll brands that sold on eBay for over $100 in the last 90 days. I've organized this list by category. We'll start with adult dolls and then finish with the toy section. We're going to take a look at the adult dolls now. This is Toner Dolls from Robert Toner. This is Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This doll sold for $500 and $10.55 shipping. These dolls definitely have a more realistic figure. Here's her in another outfit. Her elbows and wrists can move. I have a few other examples here. So this is Tim Burton's Mrs. Beetlejuice. Some of the dolls are from licensed films, and they've done licensed dolls for Harry Potter, Spider-Man 3, Twilight, and other movies. Here's another Robert Toner doll, and just to take a look, the year and the company should be printed on the back. This is upside down, but it does say 1999 Robert Toner Doll Co. And this doll has a really nice painted face. Next we have Franklin Mint. The dolls that I noticed were selling for this company were major icons. So this is Marilyn Monroe. This doll sold for $175 in a bid. Shipping was $12.55. And she comes with a bench. She's in this seated position. You can see her from the back. Here's another doll from Franklin Mint. So this is Princess Diana in her wedding dress. This thing is crazy beautiful. Look at the details of her face, her earrings, her dress. And here's just one more example. This is Katerina. This is a winter bride doll. You can notice a lot of detail in the face. And her clothing has little beads and embroidery. These are well made, and she has a gorgeous crown. This doll sold for $182.50. Barbie had to make the list, so this one sold for $125 and $14 shipping. This is the original Barbie, made in Japan, and that's her original bathing suit. I will be doing a video on Barbie sometime in the future because I actually inherited my own collection of vintage Barbies from the 1960s. I have a few others to show you. So depending on Barbie's style of hair, she can be worth a lot more. So this one's called the bubble cut, and the hair color also matters to collectors. I actually do have this dress. Unfortunately, mine is tattered to shreds. The sheer layer has like completely fallen apart because it's just so old. I didn't damage it, but it just came that way. And this one sold for $158. I also want to let you know that Barbie can be valuable if it's with a designer. And this is from the 90s, the late 90s. This is a very large and very detailed dress by the clothing designer Bob Mackie. And this one sold for $150 and $16.65 shipping. You can see all the detail in the sequin and beading. Her hair is very interesting. She even has beauty marks. So this is not a normal Barbie, this is a collector Barbie. So keep an eye out for those. This is a fashion royalty doll from Integrity Toys. This sold for $150 and $11.35 shipping. And the big difference between these is, again, attention to detail in the face, but also anatomically. The bust area actually is a little bit more accurate, and a lot of them were being sold nude, and I believe that's because the clothing that comes with them is extremely valuable as well. These are supposed to be high fashion dolls. They're not meant for children to play with. They're more a collector's item. Here's another example. And this one sold for $125, $11.35 shipping. And then one more. This one's Jolie, or Mademoiselle Jolie, from 2016. She sold for $200 and $10.95 shipping. This one kind of didn't fit in any of my categories. It's not a toy, it's not an adult doll, and it's not a baby doll, but it's considered a doll. These are the Anna Lee dolls. They're made of fabric and they have detailed painted faces, and they're very whimsical, and there's a lot of different themes. Here's a vintage set from 1969. This sold for $625, and it's a grandma, grandpa, and a baby. And here's a closer look at the tag. So this was made in Meredith, New Hampshire. And then we have a set of bunnies. This one sold for $302 in a winning bid. Again, fabric with the painted faces, a very unique style. So you can find these as people, as animals. They're usually doing some kind of activity or have some kind of theme. Now we're transitioning to the toy section of this doll video. The Bratz dolls I'm sure you've heard of, and not all of them are going to sell at high prices. Depends on which year they're produced and which style they are. This one sold for $122 US. This was out of Australia. And this one's got some rare magic hair. It's called Rhea, and she is very valuable. And just one other example, so the company that produces Bratz is MGA. This one's from 2003. It sold for $129.99 and $8.25 shipping. And so again, another rare doll. This is Step Out Sasha doll for collectors. And the other brand that I've personally got mixed up with Bratz is Monster High. So Monster High is through Mattel, and there are certain characters for Monster High that go for over $100. I saw like at least 6 names. I'm just going to show you 2 for now because I may end up making a video in the future for these types of dolls for characters so we can help spot them. So this is Draculara, and she sold for $134.98 and about $15 shipping. And you can see she's a little Dracula girl. Very detailed outfits. Lots of makeup. I also have Claudine, the Wolf Freak, and she sold for $159 and $11.45 shipping. Let's take a close-up of her face. So again, a lot of detail in the clothing, and the style and the body shape is very different. They have big heads and skinny bodies. So Hasbro, I found, actually has multiple items, their company, that are older, vintage, that are going for over $100 more than once. So I've seen several sales. I'm talking about at least 100 sales for a bunch of these dolls that I'm going to show you for Hasbro. So this is technically one brand, but I'm showing you like 5 or 6 different dolls. So the first one that I noticed several sales for was Little Miss No Name. And she's supposed to have a teardrop on her eye, but this one's missing, I believe. And she sold for $154 in a winning bid. Shipping's $9.55. And they just look very disturbing. Like, her face is very sad. She has a sack for a dress. And we can see here the marking. It says 1965 Hasbro. So these are older dolls. I also found for Hasbro that the gem dolls, so these are from the 80s. This is 1985 gem doll. And this one sold for $113 in a bid and $13.40 shipping. This one actually comes with the cassette. So they were obviously a rock band, and they all came with different cassettes with music. So that's probably important for the doll. I also noticed these strange dolls from Hasbro called Showbiz Babies, and they're basically like caricatures of famous people. This one's Denny Doherty from Mamas and the Papas, so this is from a famous music group, and they all have this feature of being super detailed with a big head and a small body. This one sold for $179 and $5.50 shipping. Another unusual doll from Hasbro, going for over $100 more than once, many times actually, was this 1960s patina poodle dog. It sold for $274 in a bid. It was free shipping. And she has the ability to sit, and she's in a little bikini. Very unusual doll. Another one you may have heard of is My Buddy. So I think this one was priced so high because the fact that it's African American black, and so that's probably a little more rare, and it's also in its box, which also helps with the value. So this sold for $225, $28 shipping, and this is from 1985. And then lastly, for Hasbro, I did find some Baby Alives, but they're not the regular Baby Alives, the ones you see in Walmart and stuff. This one actually does a lot of movement. It's kind of like animatronic. It's pretty wild. There is a video for this, but I'm not going to show it, of the doll moving its head and eyes. So I can understand why it would go for more. This sold for $250 and $27 shipping. So for Baby Alive, you definitely want to be careful and make sure you're identifying exactly which one it is, because like I said, most of them are not going at this price. It was just the ones that have more advanced features. Another company that had multiple examples of dolls going for over $100 was Kenner. So Kenner produced this doll called the Blythe doll, and you can see here very distinctive face. They have big heads, big eyes, a little nose and mouth, very expressive. This one happens to be customized, so it's actually been painted to have more of a skin tone. You can see freckling and the rosy cheeks. That's not how they all look. Some of them have very plain faces. So this one went for $220 and $8.99 shipping. Here's another example of a Kenner Blythe doll. This one's from 1972. This sold for $650, $11 shipping. So again, those big eyes, tiny nose, tiny mouth, and you notice this one does not have all that detail on the skin. So the other one was just a custom version. And then this vintage Blythe doll is from 1972, and this sold for $1,000 $8. I was shocked. I was like, if I saw that in the thrift store, would I have realized that it was unique enough to pick up? So this doll had a really nice dress. Another series from Kenner that was selling for over $100 depending on the item was the strawberry shortcake dolls. So obviously this is not a single doll that sold for $150. This is a set, but I noticed that even the individual pieces from strawberry shortcake were selling. So this is a stuffy from strawberry shortcake. This is the cheesecake bear. There's other stuffies that have like the pattern on the ears and feet, and they are based on the strawberry shortcake characters. This sold for $250 and $10.20 shipping. I also found another doll from Strawberry Shortcake. This one went for $294 and $10.20 shipping. This is also from the 80s. I did find another cute little toy series. So these are not technically dolls, but they were in the doll section when I was searching eBay, that went for over $100. So this is another Kenner toy line. This is the Seawees dolls, and they're very tiny little figurines, mermaids, and they all have different themes. And so this set went for $149 and $12.55 shipping. And if you see the case that they come in, it's a little seashell, and this sold by itself for $149.99. So keep an eye out for that. And then finally for Kenner, I found this interesting. This is the vintage Baby All Gone doll, and this is from the early 90s. It came with formula and a little container that had cherries and a little spoon that could hold the cherries. I feel like I've seen the commercial for this as a child. So this doll is worth a lot. This sold for $109 and $10.55 shipping. And then I noticed that even the accessories, okay, so that spoon, the cherries, and the formula by itself sold for $108. That's crazy. And the final brand that I'm going to go over today is Bluebird, which is for Polly Pocket, specifically vintage Polly Pocket. So again, this is kind of strange. These were labeled as dolls. They were in the eBay doll section, but I don't consider these dolls. These are more toys, but might as well look out for them since you're out there thrifting. This is a vintage 1996 Polly Pocket, and this is a Sweet Treat shop. You can see the little girl doll characters. They look a lot different than the new ones. The new ones don't look like this at all. And this sold for $188.99. And let's take a look on the inside. Look at this. It's so detailed. It's a little world inside of this little pocket-sized container. You can see the sweet shop. Very detailed. And there is a ring, apparently, that goes for a lot as well. So this is a Polly Pocket ring from 1994. This is small. This is child size, okay? And it just has a little mermaid inside of a shell that opens up, and it's on a little ring. And this sold for $150 US and $48 shipping. It's so tiny. And if you're ever looking for Polly Pockets, the Disney or the franchise movie characters are also going to be more expensive. So this is the Little Mermaid, and this one sold for $145, $560 shipping. As always, we hope this information was useful to you. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know which item categories you'd like us to research in future videos. Thank you for watching!